Good morning. Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill.
Excuse me. Good Lord, hold on.
That's 2 for 2. That's like the last 2 shows. I think you started the broadcast with a something along those lines.
You would think that after almost a year of doing this every morning, I would take a drink before we would start, but nope, nah.
Nope. Same with glasses, right? Have you done glasses yet? Nope. See,
nope. We got to do that first. It's a whole process, man. I'm up and running, and I do not have time to clean glasses until I get to right here.
No. Well, I mean, one might argue that you are a man of rituals.
Yes, that has been a thing that has been said about me. Usually in a much more pejoratory manner.
Okay.
Pejorative, yes.
Pejorative, yes.
Usually it's, John, you're way too rigid.
They're both ours. I mean, we're close,
yes.
Right?
Yes. Oh, man.
I understand that.
Did you get all moved? Or you all moved into the new place?
I did. New background, who dis, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I did. I don't know about anybody else, but I think moving is on my top 3 least favorite things to do of all time. It is, the actual act itself is quite cumbersome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I even hired movers, but there's always that 80-20. So
yes, that is, good Lord. I think you're disgusting. Maybe it's my cleaning cloth. Who knows? Yeah, I am not looking forward to it here in a handful of months. Oh, yeah.
Man.
5 months we have to move. Gross.
Yeah. Well, you still got all the time. That's good.
It doesn't feel like a lot of time, man. 5 months is a blink of an eye when you're, working a lot.
It's true. It's true. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Michelle. Yes, hold on. Sorry. I forgot that I was hosting today.
Yeah. And I'll do it moving forward. I was just in that new setup running behind.
Look at this sweet pompadour thing I have going on this morning.
Pompadour.
Right? Like the rockabilly band, we cut a demo, right? Tapes coming out. We got merch up in the back of the club. Come see us after the show.
Right, come see our table in the back.
Look at this thing. Yeah.
That is legit.
This is Conan level, I think, right? I think if it was orange,
you're creeping. You're creeping up the Conan level for sure.
And I could do the hip thing that he does.
Yep. Did he cancel? Did he officially cancel?
No, actually. Good morning, Levi.
Hey,
last I heard, he was moving to like HBO or like one of these kind of like more cable shows, and doing more of like a variety show and less of an interview show.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think that format is kind of jump the shark?
What, the
late night host, like interviewing someone on the couch?
I don't know, right? Because what's funny is I think about this a lot, actually, because they're
really?
A friend of a friend of a friend of mine advertised on both the that's right, advertised on both the Tim Ferriss and the Joe Rogan podcasts, right? And guy spent a lot more to be on the Tim Ferriss podcast, but ROI'd in a week because of how targeted and narrow the audience is, right?
Sure, for sure.
Spent less, like about half, to be on the Joe Rogan show, and because it's viewed as like more entertainment, right? It has a much broader range.
Sure.
He's never ROI'd on that spend on the Joe Rogan show.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Double, like more than what most people make in a year, or what lots of people make in a year is the difference between like advertising on these two platforms. And so I think about that all the time because you think about all these late night people and you think about their caliber of like the things that they're able to do. Like say what you want about Jimmy Fallon. I know a lot of people don't like him, but like you look at him, you look at oh God, who's the British guy?
Which one?
karaoke in cars.
James Corden.
James Corden. Like when you look at the skit development, the other stuff that they're able to do, it's so much more than just being able to sit on a couch and like ask somebody questions and be funny some of the time. So I think that the skill level is going back towards this kind of, can you put on a show kind of thing, as opposed to, can you interview well?
I agree, because like I like Fallon, honestly. To me, I like Fallon because he seems like
Fallon a lot.
One of us. Like I can't stand Kimmel. Like Kimmel just he's a nice enough guy, but like he just seems better. Like he thinks he's better than me. And
never been a fan of him. And honestly, I've never been a fan of like Adam Carolla either. Right? Never been a fan.
Who's Seth from Saturday Night Live?
Seth Meyers.
Seth Meyers. Whatever, but like I never watched much Leno or Letterman or any of those just sit and stare at someone on a couch type of shows. So when Fallon came out, like I really liked his style because he brought so much more of a variety show feel. And then what's also funny though is I actually really like Graham Norton, which is a very traditional sit on the couch, but I think it's because it's kind of a round table with multiple guests and a bunch of celebrities, and they're like talking to each other as much as they're talking to Graham.
Yeah.
So I think just something that's not you and a guest staring at each other is a lot better. Well, I mean, if we're gonna have to pick one Carolla thing that was entertaining, it's probably that. But no, I'm not a huge Carolla fan.
Me neither. I like. I like Seth Meyers, but I think I like him. I like his like opening monologues and stuff. I don't really know that he's like that great of an interviewer,
No, that's SNL better than his show.
Yeah, but that being said, I do enjoy Conan a lot. I mean, I haven't watched him in a number of years. Ever since he went over to like
TNT.
Yeah, or TBS.
TBS, there you go.
Yeah. Ever since he went over there, like he's kind of fallen like out of sight, out of mind. But like I see his clips on YouTube, and I still think that they're just as funny as they were, But like he was the guy. Like I didn't watch everybody else, and we watched Fallon on and off, but like we always watched Conan back in the day. Yeah. Like back in the day of the writer's strike. You remember that when like all that was going on, and Conan was like, "Screw it, we're going on anyway," and like he was like writing it for himself and had the beard and everything, and that's impressive. Can you do it without everybody else? Right. I think that's really interesting.
Right. So would you say then that all these guys that we were just talking about are the Joe Rogans? They're the big shotgun approach? Because there aren't really a lot of rifle approaches on TV.
Yeah. Not on TV, right? I think that's why I like the YouTube thing and the podcasting thing is such an important like thing, because before you had to so you might have an idea, and there's a person here who says, "Oh yeah, I think we can make money off of this thing," and they get to decide. Well, depending upon who this person is and like what they view is funny or entertaining, and how much of that view comes from like actual like listenership and audiences and stuff, then it can become rather limiting, or it can be done very, very well. And the cool thing about YouTube and all this stuff is you can get around that filter on a much, much smaller scale if you're willing to put in the work, Yeah. So, I mean, I think it's harder to get like one hit wondered these days because I do think it's like it's easier to just get lost in the shuffle. So like a one hit wonder has got to be really, really, really big for it to like have any kind of like blip on the radar. Yeah. But if you're putting in the work, then it's just about developing your audience, your tribe of people who see value in the same things that you do.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally agreed.
So Noah has been talking about this thing for a while. He calls it the law of 100, which I find really interesting, right? He goes, look, if you're going to become a YouTube person, don't do 3 videos and then be like, oh, I'm not going anywhere. Do commit to 100 or don't do it at all. And I was like, I really like that.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Especially for that format.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a big sea of content. So you got to put in 100 just to get out there and find your audience almost.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to give it the full shot, right? Sample size matters in everything we do. And people, there's this one meme, and I shared this on Instagram a long time ago, but it's like people will work in the same job for years and years and years and years and years to get a promotion and for it to like finally start to make sense and everything else like this. But then you're gonna try to like build a business, and if you're not at 10K in 30 days, you're just gonna give up.
Right.
Like the effort to like time ratio there is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I think part of that though is you're still getting a paycheck over those 6 years when you're waiting for that promotion.
No, that's absolutely sure, right? But or true, but you don't have to quit the job to start the side hustle.
Yeah,
right?
No, you're right. I mean, you're totally right. It's both and, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. So while I was slaving away this weekend, feeling my age, what were you doing?
So Saturday morning, I got up early. I got a little bit of work done because we're moving everything over. Like everything that can go into Go High Level is going into Go High Level, right? So my course, some of the text outreach and stuff like this that I do to people. So all this is moving into High Level, and it's every one of these systems is just like a little bit different. You know that if you don't go through all the steps yourself, it's always going to feel like a little bit weird. So I hopped in my own flows and my own kind of like systems and processes to make sure that it works okay. And you should be doing this like every couple of months, in my opinion, right? Because like things change and and stuff like this happens. So got up and did that on Saturday morning, and then in the afternoon, a friend of mine wanted to hang out on his patio, and so we did that. And he wasn't feeling very well, so it wasn't a super long thing. He just started to feel just like super tired and kind of like upset stomach. So we ended that kind of early, and then I went to the grocery store. And then yesterday was just like a bum day. Like I just kind of hung out with the family and played video games and didn't really do anything.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, way better than moving.
Yeah. Every bit of it.
Way better than moving, for sure.
But it does feel nice to be in now, because we spent second half of yesterday, settling in, getting stuff on the walls and stuff like that. So that's why last night I had set up my podcast area, but still, first time through, just kind of tweaking things and setting them up. Because I ended up, a lot of times when you change venues, you'll look at new ways to set up and things like that. And I ended up going with almost the exact same setup. So I've got something that I like here.
Okay, nice. It's funny, I get a lot of commentary and comments on like the stuff behind me, and I'm really not sure what's going to happen. I mean, nobody's ever really sure, but I get enough compliments on it that I think I'm going to miss this kind of like nice.
Yeah, that is a setup you can't necessarily mimic, because you get that built-in bookshelf right there.
Yeah.
So it's double down.
And the printer, right? I mean, no view behind me without this printer is ever going to be like really what I'm looking for, I don't think.
Sometimes I wish I could be just an observer of this show to see because I'm not sitting here looking at your background.
No, yeah.
You would think I was like having a stroke or something if I kept like checking all the things. Like you'd be like, Jake, are you okay? Like you look sick or something. But I've never sat there and just really observed,
I had a fever, but fortunately Kira was more a ceiling fan.
That's a good reference. That is a good reference.
Oh, that is
Christopher Walken would be proud, Levi.
That's a deep cut right there. That's a deep cut. I like that.
Yes. That's the only thing in my background. So that was easy.
Yes, easy.
Yes.
What do you have today, Bill?
I have got a new client meeting. Okay. I have got a follow-up with work last week. So delivered the work last week, and we're going to have, I guess, maybe second draft talk with a client today as well. Also, I have writing today, which we'll be talking about build heads, and it's writing for the book. So I got that on my schedule today, and this might be interesting to you. I took all the social media off my phone. I did last year, and then I did it again before this year. End of this year was up, and really, really enjoying that. And sidebar, I've been in in-person conversations over the last couple of weeks, And I have not once had the itch to pick up my phone while talking to someone in person, because there's nothing on it except my texting and calling, in which those just buzz, or they ring and I pick it up, So that's been a really nice, side effect of just know that, like, because you don't have, like, when you have it and you're doing your best and you're sitting there and you could put your phone face down or something, so you're not trying to, but you still are kind of like, I wonder what's going on over there,
Yeah, absolutely. The open loop of the email or the article or the social thing and stuff, and then you put it down, but it's still there, right?
It's suffering. It's suffering for me. It's not there anymore. It's just gone. It's swept.
I currently have this situation going on where I have two phones, right? And one of the things that I'm thinking about doing, right, is making one like the work phone and making one like the non-work phone. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how I would split that difference, because I'm just going to be using the iPhone mostly for Clubhouse. So what I'm thinking about doing is, since there's no SIM card in it, making that the work phone. So not having social media, not having having email and having my calendar, but no social and no texting. And this is the phone that I'm using during the workday. And then the other phone is for when I'm not at work. But maybe I need to swap those two things, so that way when I'm not at work, I'm using a phone that doesn't have social media on it, right? So I need to sit with it and play with it and figure out how I'm going to build it. But I'm excited about having two devices that both have a lot of capability and having them built differently for the different things that I'm working on.
Well, the way I've remedied that for myself is I went with the second option, and I have no social media in my personal life, like when I'm checked out for the day. And so that removes that temptation and hopefully makes me a lot more present after hours. And then during the workday, I'm actually calendaring, and I have been for a while, but I went back to this rigidly, one might say, where I schedule my media time, and it's part of my work day, and it's on my calendar, so I'm not just sitting and scrolling. And what's fun, you and I've talked about this a whole bunch when it comes to either politics or different things like that, and you get spun off on a thing. I have jumped off of Facebook pretty much, and I'm only using LinkedIn and Instagram these days. And even on LinkedIn, my mindset is not scroll. It's show up, find this thing, do these 3 tasks, get off. Whereas for some reason on Facebook, I had this tendency to just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. Just maybe because it's a more personalized feel to it, right? But
do you think that you're this might be just limiting belief. Do you think that you're losing or giving up engagement and interaction on LinkedIn because you're not scrolling and you're not really engaging with other people's content?
But one of my tasks it's okay, I need to go through the feed and look for these 3 subjects.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
I'm not getting caught in, that looks interesting.
So you're still treating it as a task versus something to do to fill the time. Okay, correct. I like that.
Yeah, and it was an actual I could feel the flip in my mind when I made it into a task to, hey, look for these 3 things so that you can go do this, versus, I need to be here because my audience is here. I need to be engaged. And it was a massive mind shift for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a ton of sense. I'm going to show you this thing that we built just real quick because I'm super excited about it.
Okay. Is this the facial recognition stuff?
No, actually. So I was trying to figure out a way to let's see, kind of drum up kind of interest in my Clubhouse thing. And so I love, this is how you know that good design is good design, because what happens is you get, crap, I'm not gonna be able to show this without showing everything else. So essentially, I've got this idea about a red candle thing. It comes from Kung Fu. I've talked about it a little bit, I think. And so we're putting that under a, you know how people are screen sharing their Clubhouse kind of things with their name and the stuff that they're into. So it has that. It's got a candle under it, right? And the candle light is moving, and then it comes in and says coming soon over the name. It looks all big and majestic looking.
Yeah, so you get a GIF or GIF with a flickering candle.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah. I was like, I kind of had this idea, and this person was like, "Cool, give me 30 minutes," and like came back with this, and I was like, that it would have taken me 30 hours, and it still would not have looked that
good. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Well, what have you got going today then?
So 8:15 call with Jordan. Oh, real quick, right? Yeah. Hold on. This is huge, and I can't wait to brag about this on social media. So the team that Levi is on, we had some process changes, right? Some little bit of tweaks to the process, and allowing the owner to be part of the sales process in a way that he finds value in, and also kind of just like helps make sure that that the results are good. They closed $22,000 in new business last week.
Oh man.
Yeah, I was like, bah, like this is so huge, right? So super excited about that. So 8:15 I have a call with Jordan, 9 o'clock I have a call with Shivam, 10 o'clock I have a call with a guy named RJ who lives in Australia, and I'm not exactly sure what he does, but we met in the Noah Kagan Slack group, and so we're gonna have a call. 11:30 I'm unveiling the CRM for this marketing agency team, and going to be meeting with them, and then also scheduling some one-on-ones to kind of onboard those people. And then at 1 o'clock, I have a coffee with a guy from the Noah Kagan Slack to talk about trading guest spots for podcasts. And then at 3 o'clock, I have a call with Michelle Stifler, kind of talk about some sales stuff. And then at 4 o'clock, I have a beer with a friend. His name is Neil. He read the book and gave me a bunch of really great feedback. So we're going to go have a beer together and chat and catch up. And that is my day. In between those things, I will be blocking and tackling. I need to finish up my tracking for January, getting everything into the tracker because I've been writing it down, but I've been, for some reason, avoiding putting it into the tracker, which is going to be a thing for me sometimes, so that's why I write it down. I need to figure out what I'm tracking for February because we want to get back on board of Bill bets, Jake and I do. So got to work on that. So I have a fair amount of busy work and social kind of like interactions that I need to balance out with blocking and tackling well today.
Okay. That works. Cool. Well, I've got, let's see, there was one other thing. I already forgot. Yeah, there's that. And
yeah.
Anything else? Oh, my bill bet. That's what it was. I was going to say.
Yes. What is your bill bet?
So writing. It's writing this week.
Okay.
And it's got to be, and I was going to ask you, should I do it based on amount of words or amount of time committed to writing words? And we talked about this off air a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Outputs, because they're both important, but inputs are what you control, and then outputs are what you hope for, what you measure against.
I think, so I think it kind of depends, right? It depends upon how much visibility you have over yourself in relation to the goal, right? And what I mean by that is if you know that just by setting like a time goal, I'm going to set this amount of time to set aside to write. If you know that is not going to be enough clarity, right? And you're still going to deal with like social media and other stuff getting in the way and not hitting your calendar, then that's when you do like a per page, per word kind of goal.
Okay.
If you're not concerned about like anything else hitting that block of time because it is on your calendar, then I like to just do it based upon time, because otherwise you're going to put, in my view of it, if you make it a per word or a per page goal, then at some point you're going to actually like edit yourself during that process. But if it's just time to sit down and write, right, just like Pressfield talks about, he sits down and he writes from this time to this time, and he doesn't care if it's good or not, because he knows that it's focused time on like writing, and editing can happen later on. So
that's what I was thinking, and really just because I think it can go both ways, honestly. But like if you sit down and just write, you can get into a habit of not writing much and be like, oh, well, I wrote today. But the opposite can happen too, is you can go, I have to write 1,000 words. Well, I wrote my 1,000 words, but did I write them just to write 1,000, or was it actually like writing that was, moving in a place I wanted it to go, or was I just filling the box, checking the box?
Man, so these days I'm a big fan of writing just to check the box, and just like trusting in the fact that like by like carving out an hour a day or 1,000 words a day or something else like this, you get, on some point you have to trust the process, right? That the process, and this is easier for me now because of Melissa, and she's like really, really, really good at like editing my stuff, it puts me into a spot to where like I can just sit down and write. And I write very odd things these days, you know, like things that have got connections that I don't think anybody else would see. And sometimes Melissa comes up and she goes, I think we need to work on this one. And I'm like, cool, you get to work on that one, right? You figure it out. You figure out like what's going to make sense and clean it up and stuff like this. I don't even want to be part of that process, right? Because like I want it to be like the ideas are just being output, and I'm not having to go through the process of like editing those ideas because I know that what'll happen is I'll go back to, you know, so if it's create, edit, you know, get, you know, put out there. If I am part of this and part of this, I'm going to be like, well, let's just go back and kind of consolidate these two things together.
Right. Or rework the idea and you lose the spirit of the idea at the beginning.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'm going to check the box this week then. I'm going to write 30 minutes a day.
Okay.
And check the box. That's what I'll be doing.
Cool. I am trying to get my sleep thing figured out. So the goal is to spend 7 hours a night in bed this week is one of the big focuses for me.
Okay.
The other one is I want to be much more consistent about using the base bar, pull-up bar that I got for Christmas, because I've not done a great job of that so far. I think I've used it 5 times last month, which is barely more than like once per week. Right. According to Levi Oliver, that does not put us into like a per use or cost per use model that makes sense for most people. So.
Yes. It's a very high cost per use at this point.
Yes. So the goal is to use that at least twice a week for all weeks this month. So it's kind of like a bigger thing. Wow. And I'm starting with 2 because the goal was to like just work out every 3 days, and that became very kind of hard to like keep track of and manage in my head. So now it's just going to be like twice per week to start off with. And so that way I can schedule it. And then I'm not having to, has it been 3 days, you know, kind of thing, because just any opportunity for complacency will create complacency for me. Well,
I liked that we had one personal and one work one the last time we left off in this. So I think I might start there too. So I'm also going to do 3 strength training workouts this week because I have a gym now that's available.
Dope.
Which is dope. Or as routine for me. I love getting in the gym, and it for some reason just works better than home workouts for me. So yeah, I'm going to do 3 strength training workouts, and then I'm going to do the 5 days of 30 minutes of writing.
Nice. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to try to make sure that every to-do thing that comes my way through like anything that I'm working on hits my to-do list, even if I like check it off immediately after, because I'm starting to slip a little bit on things hitting that kind of like universal inbox of tasks.
Yep.
So I want to make sure that I'm kind of doubling down on that. So all tasks will hit the inbox, at least 7 hours of sleep, and work out at least twice using this kind of base bar contraption behind me.
Okay, we should be writing these down.
Yes, we should. That's why it's on video, so we don't have to write it down.
Yeah, because we're going to go back and review this, right?
Yeah, exactly. 2-1, 21, 7 hours, 2 workouts.
We did have a spreadsheet going, didn't we? That you and I put these down on that we could share each week. Weren't we working on something like that too, so that we could pop this up on the screen?
I think you built something for us to use, and then we never like actually used it even once. I think is how we did that.
I will look.
Okay.
So you've got 3 base bar,
2 base bar workouts.
Right, 2 base bar. You start with
yes.
Or 7 hours, and then
all tasks hit the inbox.
All tasks. Got it. And then mine was 3 strength training and 30 minutes a day writing. Got it.
Cool.
So,
right, man. Well, I have to go meet Jordan. Are you gonna get stuck on anything today that I can help out with?
I don't think so. Good idea.
Man, I might need a ping at about 2.
2 o'clock.
Yeah, if you don't mind, because I think that this 1 o'clock networking call could go super long, and 2 is like the only like full hour that doesn't have a call or something else in it. So I want to make sure that I use that hour well for like some of the blocking and tackling stuff. So if you could, if you're open to, just a ping at 2 will kind of help nudge me to make sure I get off of this call and I use my time well.
I will set an alarm.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
All right.
Thank you to Michelle and to Levi. You guys are awesome, and we will see you tomorrow. Be thinking about your goals for this week, because we would like to see your goals in the chat tomorrow as well and the rest of this week. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you then.
All right, bye.
Cheers.